What's up, all about AI tech crew? Today, we're tackling a massive story that's got the whole tech industry buzzing, a major lawsuit against Apple and Google related to the FaceApp, that wildly popular app you might remember from a few years back. Remember those crazy filters that made you look older, younger, or even changed your gender? That's FaceApp. Now, it's at the center of a legal storm about user data privacy, and this case could change how tech companies approach AI and data collection forever. We're going to unpack this fascinating and potentially defining moment in AI history. Buckle up, because it's a wild ride. We start with showing some of those crazy FaceApp filters, then jumping right into the legal action. Let's watch some trending FaceApp videos. You'll see those filters in action right before your eyes. Next, we'll see a brief animation showing the legal battle unfolding, Apple and Google in the courtroom, facing off against the plaintiffs. We'll even have a montage of news headlines and social media posts discussing the unfolding case. To properly set the stage, this intro will end with a powerful image, Lady Justice's Scales of Justice, prominently featuring the Apple and Google logos, all digitally blended. This way you see that this is not just some casual fun. The heart of this drama is a Brazilian court ruling. A judge in Maranhão, Brazil, found Apple and Google liable for damages due to FaceApp's data collection practices. The ruling isn't that they created the app, which is important. The judge believed that by allowing FaceApp on their app stores, Apple and Google became complicit in the app's potentially problematic data handling. Think of it like this. If you opened a store and someone started selling potentially unsafe products, you might also bear some responsibility. That's the logic here. We'll show some visual graphics outlining the Brazilian legal system and the processes involved in this specific case. This will lead into a segment showing the specific accusations that were leveled against FaceApp concerning how it handled user data. We can even show clips explaining the details behind relevant Brazilian laws like the LGPD, Lei Geral de Proteção de Dados, which directly applies here. The huge fine, 19 million Brazilian reals, and 500 Brazilian reals compensation per user are staggering. We will next show the exact location of the court in Maranhão, highlighting the local culture and context to offer a more human and hopefully more relatable perspective to our audience. Seeing a picture of the courthouse and surrounding area will provide context to this ruling for our audience. Now, let's get into the really juicy stuff, the legal arguments. Apple and Google argue they only provide the platform for these apps and aren't necessarily responsible for the data handling of developers. They highlight the principle of limited liability for online platforms that hold up many aspects of how these issues are addressed online. It's a key topic. This argument is based on the Marco Civil do Internet, a Brazilian law that explicitly limits the responsibility of online platforms for user-generated content. Then we have another perspective. The IBDEC, the organization that brought the case, contends that these massive tech corporations have a responsibility to oversee the apps within their ecosystem. They're saying Apple and Google are big enough and powerful enough to ensure the proper handling of user data, even by individual app developers. Let's visually illustrate this debate with a split screen. On one side, we will outline the argument for limited platform responsibility, while on the other side, we'll visually explain the counter-argument for increased platform responsibility. We will also include a section comparing this to similar legal battles in other countries, potentially in Europe or the US, to demonstrate how this Brazilian case is actually setting a global precedent. It's not just confined to Brazil. Let's take a closer look at what FaceApp actually does with your data if you use it. The main concern involves the terms of service and how they frame user consent. Think, do you really read the legal jargon? Many of us don't, so this is very important. The original terms arguably provided FaceApp with broad access to images, to use, edit, and even commercially exploit pictures that users upload and transform. We'll show some actual screenshots of the terms of service sections, particularly those related to data usage and consent, to highlight the ambiguities and potential legal gray areas that the IBDEC brought up in the original complaint. It's easy to see how the lack of a Portuguese translation could be a major issue. This also presents an opportunity to explain precisely how this AI works to encourage the viewer to critically examine just how FaceApp manipulates faces into different ages and genders. We'll further explore the technology behind the app, explaining the facial recognition and image manipulation processes. This way we will show how this relates to deepfakes, the ethics of using deepfake technology, and how it is all related to this lawsuit. Knowing this will make watching this video a useful experience. FaceApp isn't the only app out there using AI to manipulate faces. Many others offer similar functionality, from filters that change your age to those switching your gender. We should discuss Lensa AI and others as examples. This brings up more significant issues, ethics. Are all of these apps respecting users' rights? Should they be held accountable for data misuse or ethical issues with deepfakes? We'll show a montage of different AI filter apps and their functions. Alongside each app, consider its potential ethical implications and privacy concerns. Next, we can showcase examples of deepfakes, both harmless and malicious, to highlight the potential risks associated with uncontrolled AI face manipulation technologies. This segment will include interviews with AI experts, ethicists, and even representatives from app development companies. What do they think about the balance between technological progress versus protecting personal data? This whole FaceApp debacle is a wake-up call. We need to be more aware of how our data is used. How can you protect yourself? Well, before you download an app, read the terms of service. Look closely at every aspect. If it is too complicated, too long, or in a language you don't understand, then you should also understand that if you upload an image to an app like FaceApp, there might even be lasting consequences. You might want to think about this before you click OK. Be careful about which companies you trust with your image and personal information. Choose those that are transparent in their data practices. If the company does not allow you to understand what it's doing when you upload your information, then why should you trust this company with it at all? Here's a tip. Check out the app's privacy policy, learn what the app stores itself do regarding data, and stay up to date on regulations that impact users' rights. We'll visually explain these steps with clear, easy-to-follow. Then, we'll offer links to further resources, like guides for understanding app privacy policies, along with resources about relevant laws and regulations in different countries. Let's all keep ourselves safe online. This case has huge implications. The Brazilian ruling may not be universally accepted, but it opens the door for similar lawsuits globally. How tech companies deal with the ethical dilemmas from AI and user privacy is a burning question. There is a need for more robust regulations, greater user transparency, and a heightened sense of personal responsibility in the digital space. This isn't just about FaceApp. It's about the broader role of AI in our personal lives and the responsibility of the tech industry to ensure our privacy. What do you think the future holds? Will this Brazilian court ruling trigger a change across the entire industry? The segment will end with a call to action, encouraging viewers to share their perspectives and engage with the questions presented in the discussion. Here we will show a slideshow of some future possibilities, what a more responsible digital future looks like, with advanced methods for protecting user data, stronger rules governing the usage of AI in apps and social media, and most importantly, greater transparency within the digital landscape. Let's work together to build a safer and more ethical digital future.